My beloved child, listen carefully. What you are about to hear is not random, not symbolic, and not meant for everyone. On February 9th, something shifted around you that cannot be reversed. Archangel Michael himself witnessed a moment so precise, so ordered by heaven, that 1,000 dark forces lost their grip at once, not by chaos, not by struggle, but by authority. You felt it as confusion, as restlessness, as a strange calm after pressure. You may not have had words for it, but heaven recorded it clearly. This message has found you because you were standing at the center of that shift. Let me be clear from the beginning. This was not about punishment. This was about positioning. For a long time, unseen resistance circled your life, not because you were weak, but because you were marked. There were delays that made no sense, emotional weight that did not belong to you, and cycles that tried to repeat themselves without permission. On February 9th, Archangel Michael stepped forward as a witness and a warrior, not with noise, not with fear, but with command. And when the command was given, what stood against you could not remain. You didn't see a battle, because the victory did not require one. That is what makes this moment so powerful. When something is removed by heaven's order, it doesn't leave chaos behind. It leaves space. And that space is what you are beginning to feel now. A heaviness lifting. A mental fog thinning. The strange sense that something old is over, even if nothing external has fully changed yet. This is how divine shifts begin. Quiet on the outside, seismic in the unseen. Hear this closely. Those dark forces did not fall because of effort. They fell because time ran out. There is a divine timeline, and you crossed a threshold without even realizing it. Certain permissions expired. Certain assignments against you were cancelled. Certain voices that spoke confusion into your thoughts lost their access. Archangel Michael did not intervene emotionally. He intervened legally, spiritually, decisively. What was allowed before is no longer allowed now. You may be asking yourself, why do I feel exposed? Why do people around me seem uneasy? Why do certain relationships feel suddenly out of alignment? That is because when darkness loses position, it reveals itself before it leaves. Masks slip, patterns crack, and truth begins to surface, not aggressively but undeniably. This is not to scare you. This is to prepare you. What is being exposed around you is not meant to harm you. It is meant to free you from carrying what was never yours. On February 9th, something else happened that most people miss. Your spiritual perimeter changed. The boundaries around your life were reinforced, not tightened but clarified. You are no longer meant to tolerate what drains you, confuses you, or delays your growth. Archangel Michael is not only a defender, he is a divider. He separates what looks familiar from what is aligned. And when that separation happens, it can feel uncomfortable before it feels peaceful. Do not rush this season. Do not force answers. Do not chase explanations. The shift that occurred is still settling into your physical reality. Think of it like a door that has been unlocked from the inside. You don't have to push it open aggressively. You simply have to recognize that it is no longer closed. Opportunities, conversations, and realizations will now come to you differently. Pay attention to what feels lighter, not louder. That is where alignment is forming. Here is something important you must understand. When 1,000 dark forces fell, it does not mean temptation disappeared. It means authority returned to you. You are now being trusted with discernment at a higher level. Choices matter more. Words carry more weight. Silence becomes a tool, not a weakness. This is why Archangel Michael is speaking now, so you do not misinterpret this new clarity as isolation. You are not alone. You are being refined. If you've noticed an inner push to clean, organize, release, or withdraw from noise, that is not coincidence. That is your environment responding to the shift. When the unseen changes, the seen must follow. Let it. Don't resist the urge to simplify. Don't feel guilty for stepping back. This is a recalibration, not a retreat. Most people never realize when heaven intervenes on their behalf. They only notice when things collapse. But you are different. You are being told because you are meant to cooperate with what has already been done. Archangel Michael witnessed the fall so you could walk forward without fear. The pressure you survived was not meant to break you. It was meant to qualify you. And now, one final truth for this moment. What changed around you is not going backward. Even if doubts try to whisper. Even if old thoughts knock again. Even if people question your peace. The shift has been sealed. You are standing in a new spiritual atmosphere, and your next steps will confirm it. Take a breath. Let this settle. What has been removed cannot return. What has been activated will begin to speak soon. Chosen one, now that you know something shifted, you must understand how it is unfolding in your daily life, because the change did not stop on February 9th. That date was the ignition point, not the full manifestation. Archangel Michael wants you to recognize the signs correctly so you do not misread what is happening around you. Many people miss divine upgrades because they expect fireworks, but heaven often moves through patterns, interruptions, and subtle rearrangements. Since that shift, have you noticed how certain conversations feel empty now? Words that once held power over you suddenly sound repetitive, predictable, even draining. This is not arrogance, and it is not detachment. This is discernment activating. When the dark resistance fell, it took with it the emotional hooks that kept you entangled in unnecessary cycles. Archangel Michael did not just remove opposition, he restored clarity. And clarity can feel lonely before it feels empowering. You may also feel a strange urgency mixed with patience. On one hand, there is a fire in you that says, "I can't stay here anymore." On the other hand, there is a calm voice saying, "Wait." What? Choose wisely. That tension is not confusion. It is alignment learning to walk. You are no longer being pushed by fear or pulled by pressure. You are being led by timing. This is why rushing right now would be a mistake. The shift demands awareness, not speed. Understand this. When Archangel Michael witnesses a fall of dark forces, it creates a vacuum. And nature always fills a vacuum. What fills it depends on your agreement. This is why your thoughts matter more now. Your words echo further. Your decisions carry spiritual weight. You are not being tested. You are being entrusted. Heaven is watching how you steward peace after warfare ends. You might notice people from your past trying to reappear, not dramatically, but casually. Messages that feel oddly timed. Invitations that feel familiar yet wrong. This is not coincidence. When authority shifts, old doors try to reopen to see if they still have access. They don't. But you must be the one to keep them closed. Archangel Michael guards you, but he will not override your free will. Discernment is your shield now. Let me speak clearly. You do not need to explain yourself anymore. The need to over-justify, over-apologize, or over-prove has expired. That was part of the old atmosphere. The new one responds to quiet confidence, not emotional labor. If someone does not understand your boundaries now, They were never meant to benefit from your next season. This is also why your sleep patterns, dreams, or early morning thoughts may have shifted. Some of you are waking up with ideas you did go to bed with. Some of you feel downloads of understanding without knowing where they came from. This is not imagination. When resistance clears, communication sharpens. Archangel Michael does not shout, he aligns. Pay attention to what keeps repeating gently, not loudly. Now hear this important reminder. Not everyone around you will celebrate this shift. Some will feel uncomfortable, even threatened, without knowing why. Do not personalize it. When light intensifies, shadows react. You are not responsible for managing other people's discomfort with your growth. Stay grounded. Stay kind. Stay firm. Before I go deeper, let me speak to your role here for a moment. If this message is resonating, if you feel seen and understood in ways that are rare, take a second to show your alignment. Like this video so it reaches others who are standing in the same shift. Share it with someone who hath been feeling off since February 9th but couldn't explain why. Leave a comment with what you noticed changing around you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel and join the membership, because what is coming next will require consistency and spiritual maturity. This space is not entertainment, it is preparation. Now, return your focus. The reason Archangel Michael wants you aware is because the next phase requires cooperation. You are entering a season where reactions matter more than actions. How you respond will determine how quickly doors open. Silence will protect you. Observation will guide you. You are learning to move without announcing every step. Some of you are feeling drawn to clean your space, rearrange rooms, let go of objects tied to old memories. That is not random. Physical order invites spiritual flow. When the unseen clears, the seen must follow. Do not resist these nudges. They are part of anchoring the shift into reality. Here is the truth many are afraid to say. Ease can feel suspicious when you are used to struggle. Peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos was normal. But do not sabotage calm just because it is new. This stability is not temporary. It is earned. And listen closely now. This is important. What I'm about to share next connects everything: the shift, the fallen resistance, and the strange sense that something big is approaching. Hold on, because the next revelation will help you understand exactly what is being positioned for you, not just what was removed. My precious one, now you must understand why the shift felt quiet yet permanent. When Archangel Michael witnesses a collapse of dark resistance, heaven does not rush to replace the noise. Instead, it establishes order. What you are feeling now is not emptiness. It is authority settling into place. This is why your spirit feels alert, almost watchful, as if something important is unfolding behind the scenes. That awareness is intentional. You are being trained to recognize movement before manifestation. There is a reason February 9th did not come with instant rewards. What changed around you was not the outcome, but the structure holding the outcome back. Think of it like a dam that cracked silently. The water has not yet flooded the land, but the pressure has already shifted. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a witness to lawful transition. What was blocking you no longer has permission, and what is coming must arrive clean, not rushed. You may feel an internal question rising. If so much resistance fell, why am I not celebrating yet? Because this season is not about celebration. It is about alignment. Heaven does not reward you with chaos after victory. It entrusts you with responsibility. That responsibility is learning how to live without survival mode. For a long time, your decisions were shaped by defense. Now they must be shaped by discernment. Pay attention to how your reactions are slowing down. Situations that once triggered anxiety now receive silence. Arguments that once demanded your voice now lose their importance. This is not emotional numbness. This is mastery. Archangel Michael does not rush into battles that are already won. Neither should you. Some conflicts will dissolve simply because you no longer feed them. This is also why truth is surfacing around you. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily. People are revealing intentions without speaking them. Environments are showing whether they nourish or drain you. You are no longer guessing. You are seeing. And seeing changes everything. Once clarity arrives, going back into confusion would require effort. You will not choose that again. Let me say something that may feel confronting but necessary. Some blessings were delayed because you were still loyal to old versions of yourself. Loyal to old pain. Loyal to old patterns that taught you how to survive, but not how to receive. On February 9th, that loyalty was interrupted. Not shamed. Interrupted. You were given permission to outgrow what once kept you alive. This is where Archangel Michael's role becomes deeply personal. He does not just remove threats, he trains guardians. You are learning to guard your time, your energy, your focus. That is why distractions are losing their appeal. That is why certain desires feel smaller now. It is not because you lack ambition. It is because your spirit recognizes what is worthy. Do not fear this narrowing. A focused river cuts through stone. A scattered one evaporates. Heaven is focusing you. Some of you are sensing that a long-standing issue tied to your home, identity, or foundation is about to be exposed and resolved. Not through confrontation, but through truth surfacing naturally. When dark forces fall, they cannot hide anymore. They unravel. Let them. You do not need to force revelation. It will arrive on its own schedule. Here is what matters most right now: obedience to peace. If something disturbs your peace, it is not aligned. If something strengthens your clarity, it is part of the new order. This is your compass. Use it. And now, receive this carefully. Type "I receive" the shift in the comments if this message is confirming what you have been feeling. Blessing code 939 has just been released. As I speak this, I feel the Lord saying that what was unlocked around you is meant to unlock others through you. When you sow into this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are releasing light into places still trapped behind resistance. Just as walls fell around you, your giving becomes a hammer in God's hand for someone else. I hear the Spirit saying, "What you place in my work, I will place back into your house." This is your moment to act, not hesitate. Use super thanks. Join the membership or sow through PayPal. The link is waiting in the description. I bless every giver now. May oil never run dry in your life. Obey this nudge and release it now. Beloved one, what you are walking through now is the sacred aftermath of authority being restored, and very few people understand this phase correctly. Many expect celebration, instant relief, or visible reward after a divine shift. But heaven works with precision, not spectacle. When Archangel Michael witnesses the fall of resistance, he does not rush to decorate the victory. He establishes order first. That order is what is settling around you now, and because chaos had been familiar for so long, order can initially feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. Since February 9th, your atmosphere has been recalibrated at a deep level. This recalibration did not begin with circumstances. It began with perception. You are seeing differently, thinking differently, weighing things differently. This is why your reactions have slowed and your awareness has sharpened. You are no longer responding from fear or urgency. You are responding from clarity. Archangel Michael does not act impulsively, and neither are you anymore. You are learning the rhythm of heaven, and that rhythm values timing over speed. You may have noticed that situations you once tolerated now feel heavier than before. Conversations that once seemed normal now feel draining. Environments that once felt safe now feel restrictive. This is not impatience, pride, or judgment. This is alignment rejecting what no longer fits. When resistance fell, the fog that allowed misalignment to linger was removed. Now, everything around you must either align with peace or reveal that it does not belong. There is also a strengthening of discernment taking place within you. Not emotional intuition driven by past wounds, but spiritual recognition rooted in clarity. You sense intentions without being told. You feel shifts before they become visible. This is what happens when spiritual interference is removed. Archangel Michael does not speak through anxiety or confusion. He speaks through clarity, and clarity finally has space to operate in your life. Pay close attention to how your behavior has changed. You pause before responding. You choose your words carefully. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself endlessly or defend your boundaries. This is not withdrawal. This is authority. When you no longer need to prove your position, it means your position is secure. Silence has become a strength instead of a defense mechanism. Another sign of this phase is a noticeable loss of interest in things that once consumed your energy. Certain ambitions feel hollow. Certain goals feel outdated. This does not mean you are losing passion. It means your passion is being refined. Distraction is falling away so focus can emerge. Archangel Michael narrows vision before movement, because focus protects what expansion would expose too early. Some of you are becoming aware that you have outgrown certain spaces, routines, or expectations. Places feel smaller. Roles feel limiting. This is not arrogance. This is proportion. You have grown, and growth changes perspective. What once felt normal now feels restrictive because you are no longer operating from the same level. Archangel Michael elevates perspective so you do not return to what you were delivered from. You may also feel a stronger pull toward quiet moments. Not isolation but intentional stillness. This is where integration happens. The shift that occurred was spiritual, but it must settle into your habits, your identity, and your daily decisions. Stillness allows the new order to root itself deeply. You not fight this phase. Even heaven pauses between movements. There is a correction taking place in how you see yourself. Old labels are losing their grip. Words spoken over you during seasons of misunderstanding no longer define you. You are beginning to see yourself with clarity instead of criticism. This internal alignment is crucial because how you view yourself determines what you tolerate and what you refuse. Understand this clearly, and without doubt, anything that left your life after February 9th was not meant to walk with you forward. Even if its departure felt abrupt, even if closure never came, removal is often protection disguised as loss. Archangel Michael does not negotiate with misalignment. He removes it cleanly to preserve what is ahead. Your prayer life may feel different now. Less emotional strain. Less explaining. More agreement. You are not begging heaven anymore. You are aligning with it. Fear-driven prayer has been replaced with trust-based communication. This shift alone signals that authority has been restored within you. There is something tangible being prepared for you in this season. Not symbolic, not distant. Something real that will touch your daily life. It is being assembled carefully because it must arrive without contamination from the old atmosphere. This is why patience is essential. Speed would invite interference. Timing will protect what haste would expose. If doubt whispers that nothing is happening, recognize that voice as the final echo of what lost its access. Alignment does not need constant reassurance. Peace itself is evidence. You are not standing still. You are being positioned. Remain steady. Stay observant. Stay grounded. You are no longer waiting for change. You are standing inside it. And positioning always comes before visible manifestation. My dear one, now we move into a layer of this shift that is subtle, but extremely powerful. What happened around you was not only about removal and order. It was also about recalibration of direction. After resistance falls and clarity settles, heaven always adjusts trajectory. Archangel Michael does not simply defend a moment. He redirects a future. And this is where many people become uncertain, because direction changes do not always announce themselves loudly. You may feel as if you are standing at a quiet crossroads, even if nothing dramatic has happened yet. Old paths still exist, but they no longer pull at you. New paths are not fully visible, but they feel strangely familiar. This is not confusion. This is transition. When the old loses authority and the new is still forming, there is a pause where discernment becomes essential. Archangel Michael is standing guard here, ensuring you do not step out of alignment prematurely. One of the clearest signs of this phase is the way your priorities are shifting internally. What once felt urgent now feels optional. What once felt optional now feels essential. You are becoming more selective with your time, your energy, and even your emotional availability. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. You are learning to manage what heaven has entrusted to you. There is also an internal audit happening. You may find yourself reflecting on past decisions, not with regret, but with understanding. Patterns are becoming clear. Lessons are finally making sense. This is not to pull you backward, but to free you from repeating what you have already outgrown. Archangel Michael does not allow wisdom to be wasted. Every experience you survive is being reorganized into insight. You might notice a growing discomfort with surface-level connections. Small talk feels exhausting. Performative relationships feel empty. You crave depth, honesty, and substance. This is because alignment sharpens hunger for what is real. When false resistance falls, tolerance for falseness goes with it. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming discerning. This phase also brings a quiet courage. Not loud confidence, not bold declarations, but a steady inner strength that does not need approval. You are less reactive to opinions, less shaken by misunderstanding, less affected by what used to unsettle you. This is not because you care less. It is because your center has shifted. Archangel Michael anchors before he advances. Be aware that this inner stability may challenge people who were used to accessing you easily. Some may test boundaries unconsciously. Some may question your change. This is not an attack. It is adjustment. When someone's role in your life changes, they feel it before they understand it. Stay kind, but stay firm. Alignment does not require explanation. You may also feel drawn to learning, studying, or understanding deeper truths about yourself, about purpose, about spiritual principles. This curiosity is not accidental. When clarity increases, hunger for wisdom follows. Archangel Michael governs truth, not illusion. He sharpens understanding so deception cannot take root again. Another important aspect of this season is restraint. Just because you can act does not mean you should. Just because you see clearly does not mean you must speak immediately. You are learning the power of timing. Words released too early lose impact. Decisions made too quickly invite correction. Waiting now is not delay. It is alignment maturing. There may be moments where you feel slightly disconnected from your old rhythm. Days feel different. Time feels different. This is because your internal pace has changed. You are no longer being driven by external pressure. You are being guided by internal alignment. This adjustment takes patience. Do not rush to recreate old structures just to feel familiar again. Trust that Archangel Michael is not only guarding you from external resistance, but also from internal sabotage. Old habits of overthinking, overworking, or overcompensating are being gently dismantled. You are learning how to exist without constantly proving your worth. This is freedom, even if it feels unfamiliar at first. Let me tell you something important. This phase is preparing you for visibility at a higher level. Not necessarily public attention, but spiritual visibility. What you carry, what you speak, and what you decide will carry more influence than before. This is why integrity is being refined now. Alignment always precedes expansion. If impatience tries to rise, remind yourself that nothing is stuck. It is being arranged. If uncertainty whispers, remember that clarity is already working in you, even if outcomes are still forming. You are not behind. You are exactly where recalibration happens. Remain attentive. Remain grounded. Remain willing to choose peace over familiarity. The direction being set now will soon require a step that feels both natural and courageous. When that moment arrives, you will recognize it, not by pressure, but by deep inner confirmation. Beloved one, this stage of the journey is where alignment stops being an idea and starts becoming a discipline. Many people believe alignment feels effortless all the time, but heaven works more precisely than that. Alignment feels steady, intentional, and deeply rooted. After direction is recalibrated, consistency is examined. Archangel Michael is not only watching what you choose in powerful moments, but what you choose quietly, repeatedly, when no one is affirming you and nothing feels urgent. Life may feel calmer now, yet more demanding internally. There is less chaos pulling at you, but more responsibility resting on your discernment. This is because resistance is no longer pushing you forward. You are being guided forward by agreement. Agreement requires awareness. You are learning how to move without pressure, and that can feel unfamiliar when struggle once shaped your rhythm. In this phase, heaven sends subtle invitations instead of loud disruptions. Doors open gently. Ideas surface without force. Conversations shift naturally. Nothing feels dramatic, and that is intentional. Archangel Michael aligns timing so movement feels right instead of rushed. When you hesitate, do not assume fear. Often, hesitation is discernment checking alignment before action. Notice how your decision-making has changed. You are no longer asking only if something will work, but if it belongs. You are considering long-term impact instead of short-term relief. This shift protects you from repeating cycles that once strained you. Wisdom is now leading where impulse once ruled. There may be moments when you miss the intensity of earlier seasons. The urgency. The feeling of constantly fighting forward. That does not mean those seasons were better. It means your system is adjusting to peace. Peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos was normal. Stability can feel strange when survival was routine. Give yourself patience here. Calm does not mean stagnation. It means foundation. You might also notice changes in how people respond to you. Some are drawn to your steadiness. Others feel unsettled because they can no longer pull reactions from you. This is not your burden to manage. Your calm is not an explanation. It is a boundary. Archangel Michael stands behind that boundary, reinforcing what you no longer need to defend. Another major theme in this season is stewardship of attention. What you focus on grows stronger. What you stop feeding loses influence. This is why distractions are becoming obvious. You are noticing how certain habits scatter your energy, how certain inputs cloud your clarity. This awareness is not meant to create guilt. It is meant to restore authority. You now have the power to choose what shapes you. Let me pause here and speak to you directly. If this message is helping you recognize what you are living through, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video so it reaches others who are quietly adjusting to the same shift. Share it with someone who has felt a strange calm replace old pressure. Leave a comment about what has changed in you since February 9th. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel and part of the membership, because this space exists to walk with you through these seasons consistently, not just momentarily. Now bring your focus back. This phase also requires restraint in speech. Not everything you understand needs to be explained. Not every realization needs an audience. You are learning the difference between revelation and timing. Words spoken too early lose weight. Silence, when guided, preserves momentum. Archangel Michael teaches not only how to speak with authority, but how to wait with authority. There may be days when nothing outward seems to move, yet inwardly you feel progress. Trust that. Growth does not always show itself immediately. Roots deepen before branches spread. Strength develops quietly before it becomes visible. Alignment matures beneath the surface long before it produces fruit. You are also being trained to recognize false urgency. Just because something demands attention does not mean it deserves priority. Peace has become your filter. If something disrupts your peace, it deserves examination before engagement. Alignment does not require constant reaction. It requires deliberate response. There is a refining of discipline happening now. How you manage your time. How you rest. How you say no. These choices matter more than they used to, not because you are under pressure, but because your capacity has increased. What is coming will require sustainability. Archangel Michael is not preparing you for burnout. He is preparing you for endurance. If impatience tries to rise, pause and remember this: nothing is delayed. It is being arranged. Nothing is missing. It is being positioned. The quiet you feel is not absence. It is structure being built. Hold steady here. This part of the journey is essential. Do not rush past it. You will soon understand why this season of steadiness was necessary. Stay with me, because what unfolds next will connect everything you have felt, questioned, and sensed into one clear direction. My beloved one, what unfolds in this stage is a depth of awareness that many never reach because it requires patience without immediate reward and faith without visible proof. This is the season of confirmation, not through loud signs or external validation, but through a quiet alignment that settles deep within you. After steadiness hath been formed and discipline hath been refined, heaven begins to reveal patterns that were always present but previously hidden by pressure and noise. Archangel Michael does not rush this unveiling, because understanding received too early can overwhelm instead of empower. You may begin to notice that life around you is synchronizing in subtle, meaningful ways. Not dramatic breakthroughs, but precise timing. A conversation answers a question you never spoke aloud. A delay shields you from something you later recognize would have drained you. An idea returns with clarity after a long silence, now ready to be acted upon. These moments are not coincidence. They are confirmation. Alignment speaks softly, but it repeats itself until you recognize its voice. This phase often brings reflection without regret. You find yourself revisiting past seasons, not with pain, but with understanding. You finally see why certain doors never opened, why some plans fell apart at the last moment, why some connections could not continue. What once felt like rejection now reveals itself as protection. Archangel Michael was not withholding goodness from you. He was guarding your future. This realization quietly releases resentment you may not have known you were still carrying. There is also a sharpening happening in your ability to discern motives, both your own and those of others. You are becoming aware not just of what you want, but why you want it. This matters deeply, because pure motives attract stable outcomes. When desire is aligned, results endure. You are no longer driven by the need to prove yourself, escape discomfort, or compensate for old wounds. You are choosing from a place of wholeness rather than lack. You may notice that your need for approval has faded. Praise no longer defines you. Criticism no longer destabilizes you. This emotional independence is not distance, it is grounding. When your center is secure, external opinions lose their authority over your peace. Archangel Michael strengthens identity before expanding influence, because influence without identity creates confusion. Silence becomes a teacher in this phase. You learn as much from what is not happening as from what is. A lack of visible movement is not stagnation, it is calibration. Heaven sometimes holds still so you can notice what truly matters. If everything moved at once, you would miss the lesson hidden in the pause. This stillness is not empty. It is instructional. You may also feel a heightened sensitivity to truth. Inconsistencies stand out more clearly. Forced energy feels uncomfortable. You are no longer impressed by appearances alone. Substance matters. Integrity matters. Depth matters. This is not cynicism. It is discernment refined by clarity. Alignment values what is real over what is impressive. Another marker of this season is emotional regulation. Situations that once triggered strong reactions now register as information rather than threats. You observe instead of absorb. You respond instead of react. This is not emotional detachment. It is emotional maturity. Archangel Michael trains awareness before action, because reaction without awareness recreates cycles that were already broken. There may be moments when you feel unseen or unnoticed. This can be uncomfortable if you once measured progress by recognition or response. But understand this truth. Some of the most important transformations happen away from the spotlight. Visibility without foundation leads to collapse. Heaven builds quietly so what emerges can stand without crumbling under pressure. You are also learning to trust internal confirmation more than external affirmation. When something aligns, you feel it without needing agreement from others. This inner knowing is powerful. It keeps you anchored when opinions shift and circumstances fluctuate. You are no longer outsourcing certainty. You are carrying it. This phase asks for gentle honesty with yourself. Not harsh self-judgment, but clear self-awareness. You begin to notice which habits nourish you and which ones quietly undermine you. You recognize where you still revert to old patterns under stress. This awareness is not condemnation. It is opportunity. What you see clearly, you can choose differently. Archangel Michael's presence here is both protective and instructional. He is teaching you how to stand without bracing for impact. How to move forward without constantly scanning for danger. How to live without armor. This way of being is new, and integration takes time. Be patient with yourself as you learn how to live without constant defense. You may feel an increasing sense of readiness without knowing exactly what you are ready for. This is alignment signaling preparation. You are not meant to force clarity. It will arrive when readiness and opportunity intersect. Until then, your role is to remain steady, attentive, and responsive. If impatience arises, remind yourself that clarity unfolds in layers. Each layer prepares you for the next. Nothing here is wasted. Nothing is random. The quiet you are experiencing is purposeful. It is the space where understanding deepens and direction becomes firm. Stay present in this season. Do not rush ahead emotionally or mentally. This phase is shaping how you will recognize what comes next. When the moment arrives that requires movement, it will not feel chaotic or confusing. It will feel grounded, clear, and unmistakably aligned. You are closer than you realize, and everything you are sensing is preparing you to recognize what is about to step fully into view. My beloved child, this is the stage where what was invisible begins to press gently against visibility. Not fully revealed yet, but close enough for your spirit to recognize it. This part of the journey is about readiness meeting responsibility. After confirmation comes commissioning. Archangel Michael does not move people forward abruptly. He positions them until their inner posture matches the weight of what is coming. That is exactly what is happening to you now. You may sense a growing seriousness within you. Not heaviness, but gravity. Certain choices feel more meaningful. Certain words feel more consequential. This is because you are no longer standing on unstable ground. The shift that occurred earlier cleared the space, but now heaven is measuring how you carry clarity. Power is never released without character. Authority is never extended without trust. This phase may feel intense in a quiet way. Not dramatic events, but internal awareness increasing. You are noticing where compromise once slipped in unnoticed. You are noticing where fear subtly influenced decisions. This is not condemnation. This is refinement. Archangel Michael is known not only for defense, but for alignment with divine order. He sharpens what is already strong so it does not fracture under pressure later. You may also feel a sense of separation increasing. Not isolation, but distinction. You are recognizing that not everyone can walk with you into what is forming. Some connections were seasonal. Some roles were temporary. This realization may feel bittersweet, but it is necessary. What is ahead requires clarity of companionship. Alignment cannot be crowded. At the same time, there is a strengthening of resolve happening. You are less willing to betray your peace for approval. Less willing to shrink to maintain comfort. This is not rebellion. It is maturity. You are choosing alignment over accommodation. Archangel Michael stands with those who choose truth over ease. You may notice that opportunities now come with responsibility attached. Nothing feels casual anymore. Even small decisions carry weight. This is not pressure. It is trust. Heaven is treating you as someone who can steward influence, even if that influence is quiet and personal for now. Faithfulness in small things is being observed closely. There is also an invitation in this phase to release hesitation. Not recklessness, but hesitation rooted in old fear. You are being asked to trust what you know. You have enough clarity now to take certain steps without needing endless confirmation. Doubt may still whisper, but it no longer has authority. Discernment has replaced it. You may feel moments where your spirit feels stretched. Not overwhelmed, but expanded. The stretching is preparation. Capacity is increasing. Archangel Michael expands capacity before increasing assignment, so you do not break under the weight of what you prayed for. Be aware that resistance may attempt to test you again, not through force, but through distraction. Old habits may knock, Old thoughts may resurface. This is not regression. It is verification. What no longer fits will feel obvious. You will recognize it quickly and choose differently. That choice matters. This phase also brings a call to integrity in private. What you do when no one sees is shaping what you will carry publicly later. Alignment is not proven through words, but through consistency. You are being formed into someone who can be trusted with influence without losing humility. Let this sink in deeply. You are not being prepared for chaos. You are being prepared for stewardship. Whatever is coming will require stability, wisdom, and restraint. This is why your spirit feels both calm and alert. You are standing at the edge of responsibility, not excitement. And now receive this activation. Type "I am ready to steward" in the comments if you feel this preparation happening within you. Blessing code 1818 is now activated. As this readiness settles over you, hear this clearly. What God is forming in you is meant to reach beyond you. When you support this mission, you are sowing into lives that are still surrounded by resistance, waiting for clarity to break through. I hear the Spirit saying, "As you help my word go forth, I will entrust you with more." This is not a donation. It is obedience in motion. Release your seed now through Super Thanks. Become a member or give through PayPal using the link in the description. I speak blessing over every giver. May your capacity increase and your path remain protected. Act now and align your seed with this moment. What comes next will explain why this preparation hath been so precise, and why what is approaching cannot arrive any earlier than this. Stay attentive. The next unfolding will connect everything. Beloved one, now we step into a phase where understanding turns into embodiment. Everything you have sensed, learned, and recognized is no longer meant to remain internal alone. This is the moment where alignment begins to show itself through how you live, choose, and carry yourself. Not loudly, not performatively, but unmistakably. Archangel Michael does not prepare people only to inform them. He prepares them to become something different. And that becoming is happening now. You may notice that your presence itself feels different. Without trying, without effort, you carry a steadiness that affects the atmosphere around you. People may feel calmer near you, or strangely reflective. Some may open up unexpectedly. Others may pull away without explanation. This is not because you are doing something wrong. It is because alignment has weight. When someone is no longer internally divided, it creates contrast. This phase is about integration. The clarity you receive is settling into your habits. The discernment you developed is shaping your routines. The peace you guarded is becoming your default state. This is important, because what you live consistently speaks louder than what you understand intellectually. Archangel Michael is forming coherence within you, so your inner world and outer actions match. You may feel a growing discomfort with inconsistency, especially within yourself. Small compromises feel heavy now. Saying yes when you mean no creates internal friction. This is not guilt. This is integrity awakening. When alignment deepens, anything out of alignment becomes obvious. This awareness is not meant to trap you. It is meant to free you to choose differently. There is also a strengthening of resolve taking place. You are less tempted to abandon your values under pressure. You are less willing to rush decisions just to relieve discomfort. This does not mean you are rigid. It means you are anchored. Anchored people can move without drifting. In this season, you may find that clarity demands action in small but meaningful ways. A conversation you can no longer avoid. A boundary you must finally enforce. A habit you must release. These are not dramatic moves, but they are decisive. Alignment is maintained through consistent, honest choices. Archangel Michael reinforces alignment through truth, not avoidance. You might also notice that your tolerance for noise, mental, emotional, even digital, has decreased. Overstimulation feels draining. Excess input feels disruptive. This is because your system is calibrated for clarity now. Noise interrupts discernment. Publicity supports it. You are naturally gravitating toward what nourishes rather than overwhelms. This phase may also challenge your patience again, but in a different way. Not impatience for answers, but impatience with misalignment. You may feel an urge to fix situations quickly or correct others. Be mindful here. Alignment does not require control. It requires example. Live what you know. Let others adjust at their own pace. There is a quiet authority growing in you that does not announce itself. You are learning that influence does not come from convincing, but from consistency. People trust what is stable. They listen to what is embodied. Archangel Michael understands this deeply. He does not persuade darkness. He displaces it by presence. You may also experience moments of testing, not dramatic opposition, but subtle choices. Moments where you could slip back into old patterns because they are familiar. These moments matter, not because you are fragile, but because alignment is strengthened through repetition. Each time you choose what aligns, the old loses more power. Another important aspect of this phase is humility. Not self-diminishment, but groundedness. You recognize that clarity is a gift, not an achievement. This keeps your heart open and your posture teachable. Archangel Michael works closely with humility because humility keeps authority clean. You are also becoming more aware of timing. When to act, when to wait, when to speak, when to remain silent. The sensitivity is not hesitation. It is wisdom refined. Timing protects alignment. What you release at the wrong moment can lose impact. What you hold too long can lose relevance. You are learning to sense the right moment. Do not be surprised if life feels simpler now, even if it feels quieter. Complexity often came from internal conflict. As that conflict dissolves, simplicity emerges. This simplicity is not lack. It is clarity in motion. Let this settle deeply. You are no longer preparing to change. You are changing. The shift is no longer approaching. It is integrating. Archangel Michael is not standing ahead of you now. He is standing with you, reinforcing what has already been established. Remain faithful in small choices. Remain honest with yourself. Remain attentive to peace. What is forming in you now is stable, sustainable, and ready to carry what comes next. The next unfolding will show you how this embodied alignment begins to intersect with tangible outcomes in your life. When it does, you will recognize it, not by surprise, but by confirmation. My beloved one, now we enter a phase where alignment begins to touch the physical layer of your life more clearly. What was internal, invisible, and deeply personal is starting to intersect with circumstances, timing, and tangible movement. This is where many people become uneasy, because manifestation brings responsibility. When things begin to shift outwardly, there is no hiding behind preparation anymore. Archangel Michael does not reveal outcomes until the inner structure is strong enough to sustain them. That strength is now present in you. You may notice subtle but undeniable changes taking place around you. Situations that were once stalled begin to move without force. Conversations open naturally. Solutions appear without strain. These are not sudden miracles meant to oppress you. They are confirmations that alignment is working. When resistance is gone and integrity is in place, movement becomes smooth instead of stressful. This phase may feel quieter than expected. You might have imagined that progress would feel dramatic or overwhelming, but instead it feels grounded. That is intentional. Archangel Michael ensures that what enters your life now does not disrupt your peace. What comes aligned will never require you to sacrifice stability to sustain it. You may also notice that your discernment is now required in practical decisions. Where to invest time, what to commit to, who to trust with access to your life. This is important. Alignment does not mean everything is automatically good. It means you can now clearly see what belongs and what does not. Wisdom is being applied, not just understood. There is a growing sense of confidence in your choices. Not arrogance, not certainty about outcomes, but trust in your ability to decide well. This trust was built quietly over time. Every moment of restraint, every boundary honored, every pause taken when rushing would have been easier. These moments form discernment. Archangel Michael values this kind of confidence because it is rooted in clarity, not ego. You may feel tested again, but not in the way you expect. Tests now come disguised as opportunities. Options may appear that look good but feel slightly off. This is where your growth becomes evident. You no longer chase what looks impressive if it disturbs your peace. You choose what aligns, even if it unfolds slowly. And choice protects what is being built. In this phase, patience shifts meaning. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. You are allowing something to mature. This is a very different posture. Waiting implies lack. Allowing implies trust. You are no longer trying to force timing. You are cooperating with it. Let me pause here and speak directly to you for a moment. If this message is helping you recognize what is unfolding in your life right now, engage with it. Like this video so it reaches others who are quietly stepping into alignment. Share it with someone who feels change happening but cannot yet explain it. Leave a comment about what you have noticed shifting outwardly for you. And make sure you are subscribed to this channel and part of the membership, because this journey does not end with awareness. It continues with wisdom, and consistency matters here. Now return to the message. There is also an invitation in this season to release old measurements of success. You are no longer measuring progress by speed or comparison. You are measuring by peace, clarity, and sustainability. This redefinition is crucial. Archangel Michael does not lead people into success that costs them their soul. He leads them into stewardship that multiplies life. You may notice that you are more selective with who you share your plans with. This is not secrecy born from fear. This is wisdom born from experience. Not everyone needs access to what is still forming. Protecting something rarely allows it to grow strong. Silence is sometimes alignment's greatest ally. This phase also reveals how far you have come emotionally. Situations that once caused anxiety now receive calm consideration. Uncertainty no longer paralyzes you. You trust your ability to navigate what you do not yet see. This is not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one guiding you. Be aware that subtle pride may try to surface, not in loud ways, but in quiet self-reliance. Remember this. Alignment is maintained through humility. You did not arrive here by your strength alone. Archangel Michael's role hath been constant, even when unseen. Gratitude keeps alignment clean. If at any point you feel the urge to rush ahead just to confirm that something is finally happening, pause. Trust me, you will want to see what unfolds next. What is approaching will make sense of every delay, every refinement, every quiet test you passed. This is where the bigger picture begins to reveal itself, and you will be glad you stayed attentive. Remain steady. Remain humble. Remain responsive. The final phase ahead will bring closure, clarity, and a full understanding of why February 9th mattered as much as it did. My beloved one, you are now standing in a sacred space where understanding begins to bring true closure. This is not an ending marked by loss, but a completion shaped by meaning, clarity, and restoration. Everything that has unfolded since February 9th has been guiding you toward this point. Archangel Michael does not intervene halfway and then step back. When he witnesses a shift, he also oversees its fulfillment. What you are experiencing now is the sealing of a long spiritual chapter. You may feel a calm that is deeper than relief, paired with a quiet anticipation you cannot fully explain. It is not anxiety. It is not impatience. It is the awareness that something has settled into place. This feeling is not imagined. It is closure anchoring itself within you. True closure does not always come with explanations, apologies, or visible justice. Often, it comes as peace where confusion once lived. That peace is becoming steady in you now. You are beginning to see your past with new clarity. Seasons that once felt disjointed are now revealing a pattern. Struggles that felt unnecessary are showing their purpose. Detours that once felt like delay now make sense as protection. You are no longer asking why things happened to you. You are recognizing how they shaped you. The shift in perception is not emotional detachment, it is maturity. Archangel Michael guards those who are ready to see truth without bitterness. This phase is strongly connected to release. Not dramatic release, not forceful cutting away, but natural letting go. You may notice that memories which once carried emotional weight now feel neutral. Old triggers do not rise the way they used to. Certain fears no longer have the same grip. This does not mean those experiences were insignificant. It means they no longer have authority. Authority has returned to you. There is also forgiveness happening at a deep level. Not necessarily reconciliation, and not always spoken. It is internal freedom. You are no longer carrying emotional weight that was never meant to stay with you. Forgiveness here is not excusing what happened. It is refusing to let it follow you forward. Archangel Michael does not allow those he guards to remain bound to what has already lost its power. You may notice that your desires are becoming simpler. You want less, but what you want matters more. Excess no longer appeals to you. Depth does. Stability does. Truth does. This simplification is not loss. It is refinement. When clarity increases, unnecessary layers fall away naturally. You are no longer distracted by what looks impressive but feels empty. Your confidence now feels quieter, but stronger. You do not need reassurance to feel secure. You do not need validation to feel grounded. You know who you are becoming, even if the full picture is still forming. This does not mean growth has ended. It means fragmentation has ended. Integration is taking place. Your inner world is no longer divided. Your prayers may feel different as well. Less urgency, less striving, more trust, more agreement. You are no longer asking heaven to rescue you from chaos. You are partnering with what has already been aligned. This shift reflects spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael works closely with those who can walk in agreement rather than desperation. Old cycles are losing their emotional charge completely. Patterns you once feared repeating no longer intimidate you. You recognize them early and choose differently without effort. This is not hypervigilance. It is awareness born from healing. You are not guarding wounds anymore. You are guarding peace. Be mindful that completion can feel subtle. There may not be a dramatic moment that announces the end of this chapter. Instead, there is calm. There is clarity. There is readiness without urgency. That is how you know something is complete. When the need to keep revisiting the past dissolves, you may find gratitude rising unexpectedly, not only for breakthroughs but for endurance, not only for answers but for protection during seasons of confusion. Gratitude signals healed perspective. Archangel Michael honors gratitude because it acknowledges guidance even when it was unseen. As this chapter closes internally, space is being created externally. What is coming next requires room. New responsibility requires freedom from old weight. That is why release is happening now. You cannot carry both the past and the future at the same time. Nothing meaningful from your past is being erased. Wisdom remains. Strength remains. Discernment remains. Only the burden is leaving. Only the unnecessary weight is falling away. What shaped you is staying. What limited you is not. Pause here and recognize how far you have come. Not compared to anyone else, but compared to who you were. The version of you that survived is honored. But they are no longer leading. You are. The final unfolding ahead will not feel foreign or overwhelming. It will feel familiar, steady, and right. Because it had been forming quietly all along, waiting for this moment of completion. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything finally converges. Not in noise, not in shock, but in truth. What began as a quiet shift has now reached completion. February 9th was not just a date, it was a turning of authority. What Archangel Michael witnessed then has now fully settled into your life. You are no longer standing in transition. You are standing in position. You may notice that nothing feels forced anymore. The inner resistance is gone. The constant questioning has softened. You are not searching for signs the way you once did, because something inside you already knows. This knowing is not arrogance. It is alignment made mature. When truth settles, it does not shout. It rests. This final stage is about recognition. Not recognition from people, but recognition within yourself. You see clearly now what changed around you, why it had to change, and why it could not have happened earlier. Timing protected you. Delay refined you. Silence strengthened you. Archangel Michael did not remove darkness just to give you relief. He did it to give you clarity that could last. You are no longer the person who needed constant reassurance. You are no longer driven by fear of loss or pressure to prove. You move differently now. You decide differently now. You respond instead of react. That is the evidence of the shift. The greatest transformations do not announce themselves through chaos. They reveal themselves through peace. There is also a deep stability anchoring you now. Even when uncertainty exists, it does not shake you the way it once did. Even when outcomes are not fully visible, you trust the process. This trust is not passive. It is active alignment. You are walking forward without dragging the past behind you. You may realize that certain struggles simply ended without explanation. Certain people lost influence without confrontation. Certain fears dissolved without effort. That is how lawful spiritual authority works. When permission expires, access ends. Archangel Michael enforces order without drama. What felt cannot return. This is also the moment where your discernment becomes protection for others. Not by preaching, not by convincing, but by presence. The way you carry peace, clarity, and restraint will speak louder than words. You are not meant to rescue people. You are meant to reflect truth so they can choose it. Do not underestimate what hath been entrusted to you. This is not about status. It is about stewardship. You are now responsible for guarding what hath been restored. Your peace, your clarity, your alignment. Guard them wisely. Choose environments that nourish them. Choose conversations that respect them. Choose silence when noise offers nothing. As this chapter closes fully, understand this. You were never late. You were never overlooked. You were never forgotten. Every step, every pause, every redirection was intentional. Heaven does not waste obedience. Archangel Michael does not abandon assignments. What was promised has now been positioned correctly. And now receive this final activation. Type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments if this message has confirmed your journey. Lesson code 4449 is now released over your life. Now let this moment flow into obedience. As this assignment reaches completion, hear this clearly. What God has finished in you is meant to flow through you. When you support this mission, you are helping carry this word into lives that are still waiting for clarity and freedom. I hear the Lord saying, "Those who stand with my work in this hour, I will stand with in the days ahead." This is not charity. This is alignment. Release your support now through Super Thanks. Become a member, or so through PayPal using the link in the description. I bless every giver with protection, increase, and spiritual authority. Act now, and let your obedience speak louder than words. Remain grounded. Remain aligned. What has shifted around you is complete, and what comes next will meet you already prepared.